Boys and girls, it is another edition of the Three Man Weave. I'm Max McCombs as always, Nathan Brown, Mike Norman, and we just enjoyed a 73-60 IU win against Iowa. I'm being facetious when I say enjoy that because no one enjoyed this one. This was about as ugly a game as you can get. Fouls tell the story. We had a whopping 52 fouls in this game, which is just, yeah. What is there? What more is there to say? It was foul after foul after foul. I mean, what's the grand total for free throws here? 66 free throws attempted in this game, and the thing is, not many of them went. Or neither team shot a great percentage on them either. It was just an ugly game in every sense of the word. But IU won. It is something to win those ugly games, but no denying that's that. This is what that was.
And realistically, this is the type of game that IU kind of wants. A very high free throw game. You're getting a lot of fouls on the other team, and you're playing stout defense. And, you know, that was the biggest key. Held Iowa to 14 points in the first half. The best half IU has had holding a team 14 points. You know,
yeah. And you can't see them topping that at any point this season. That's going to hold up for a while.
Yeah, and it's not even like Iowa was shooting that bad. Sure, they shot 29%, but it was the turnovers. I believe there was something. It was about 12 turnovers, or it was double-digit turnovers.
Double-digit turnovers, 10 turnovers in 10 minutes, I think, is what it was.
Yeah. So a great defensive effort by IU. I think that's one of the things you got to take away. One of the things that Coach Green talked about afterwards was kind of be all win ugly, and you know,
and that's what this one was.
Definitely, and there's a certain value to it, especially now that we are in the month of March. Wins are wins, no matter how you get them, and I think that's the biggest thing you got to take away for the Hoosiers. But a couple big games for IU. You have Yogi Ferrell and Cody Zeller both putting up great scoring performances. Zeller had 22, Yogi Ferrell had 19, 5 assists, and only 1 turnover. I think that was the big thing.
Yeah, and Zeller ended up having a nice game, even from a percentage standpoint, after a really slow start. He started out 0 for 4 from the field. All shots where he was going right up the lane, trying to get layups or dunks, and where they were just slamming him with multiple guys. And, I mean, it wasn't until the fourth one of those that even he got a foul called. And he obviously ended up attempting 13 free throws along with 13 from the field. But to finish 7 of 13 after starting 0 for 4 really does prove that he had a good night after the early going.
I think the success of both of those players just show you how much of an inside game this really was. Both those players, they talked about after the game, Yogi really having some success driving inside, not necessarily looking to draw the foul like Crean noted in the post-game press conference, and going up able to weave through the big players that Iowa did have inside, and then along with Zeller really battling really hard and overcoming those first 4 misses to have really a pretty good shooting game. It just really seemed like no one else other than those 2 guys, partially because of the fouls, the stoppage and everything, could really get a whole lot of momentum. It really was an inside game. IU didn't hit a 3-pointer until the final minute of the game, very uncharacteristic of them.
And then they tacked on a second one, but with like 30 seconds later.
Especially because IU, coming into this game, hit at least 7 3-pointers in each of the last 10 games. So a little bit uncharacteristic.
Yeah, that has to be an abnormality. I don't think people need to worry about any long-term. I mean, let's see what happens with Ohio State, but I think that it was something from tonight that was really an abnormality, in my opinion.
Guys, just look at a couple of the game notes. Yogi Ferrell now 2 assists shy of passing A.J. Guyton for second all-time for most assists for a freshman in a single season. And, now approaching Isaiah Thomas's mark, too. I believe he's on pace where he will be very close to that, depending on how far IU goes. But certainly you can't say enough about what Yogi Ferrell has been able to do as a freshman. I think it gets overlooked a little bit because people have just a little bit of a tendency to forget he's a freshman. He's a true freshman, and he's playing great at a high level, and you can see the difference between when he's not on the floor and when he's on the floor for IU.
Yeah, just with the whole offense. I mean, he really has become a leader, and he knows how to run the offense better than anyone on this team at this point. And I don't think there is any player that's even close to making the in-season improvement this year that he's made.
No, he's just got some great awareness. I can't remember exactly when it was in the first half, where often Iowa miss, he was able to see that they were struggling to get back on defense and lobbed a pass over the Iowa defense, I believe, to Zeller, who slammed it home for a dunk. Just that kind of awareness, that kind of offensive presence, that even though you're just coming off giving up a bucket, that he's looking to push the ball. And Crean said that when he's just trying to push the offense, for a lot of players, that's really sprinting up the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And did a great job of it today. Certainly rebounding from somewhat of a down performance, I guess you could say, against Minnesota. He had 10 points, but
yeah, I mean, the shots just weren't falling. And the thing is, in a way, it boils down to that boils down especially with the first half, because IU actually quietly shot 50% in the second half. But in the first half, yeah, it was pretty atrocious. Let's see, it was 28.6%. That's pretty bad. But really, for much of the first half, that's pretty much all that was going wrong. I mean, they were getting good ball movement. I mean, you look across the board, I guess they were edged at the end on rebounds, but for much of the game, they were leading in rebounds, assists, turnovers, all of that. They were leading all the things you want to be leading in and not leading the things you don't want to be leading in. And then they just weren't making shots. And that's why, even with Iowa's even more atrocious offensive performance, they just weren't able to pull away.
Yeah, guys. Well, that about wrap up the book on this one. Senior night coming up here. It will be our last time at Assembly Hall for the season. It's hard to believe that this season is almost getting now into the books with the regular season at least. But it will be a very, I could predict a very emotional night. I think
you got to think so, especially because none of the seniors had very good nights tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of motivation for them to bounce back.
Well, we are very excited to be covering senior night from Assembly Hall on Tuesday night, but be sure to check out the IDS all week leading up to that. We'll have some great profiles of the seniors coming up.
Yeah, we're going all out on Monday with our sports front, so be sure to pick that one up. That should be a good one.
Well, from Assembly Hall, that'll do it for us. You're listening to the IDS again on the three-man weave. For Nathan Brown, Max McCombs, I'm Michael Norman. Thanks for joining us, Hoosier fans, and we'll see you on Tuesday night.
Take care.